What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the 90s First Show, where we chat about the movies and TV shows we've been watching. Today, we're going to be discussing Sonic 2. This is our review. My name is Mike, but first, let's introduce my co-host here. Let's introduce my co-host here. Justin, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I can't wait to talk about this. I've seen it twice. Once with my daughter for the first time ever taking her to the movies, and then once with my girl. So it was good.
All right.
Good times.
Cool. Yeah. Did your daughter enjoy it?
She did. She did get a little there's some spooky stuff, I guess, for 5-year-olds that kind of like, the good guy's losing, the good guy's winning. It's normal for movies, but she enjoyed it. She definitely loved it.
Good. Glad she enjoyed it. Well, listeners, just a little bit of housekeeping. Please leave us a review on any podcatcher of choice. If you're on Spotify, please rate us that star rating on mobile only. Of course, if you're on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review, and we would love to read it on the show. We only have 5 ratings ever on Apple Podcasts, so let's maybe get that to 10. Who knows? If you're listening to this, please leave a review. As well as if you haven't seen our posts about it or our announcements on our other show, Test Your Might, we are doing a complete rebrand. We have done a lot of work to get this rebrand going, to get it to the place where we think that it's going to be good for the show, the podcast, and everything. This is Test Your Might included. And so we're going to be revealing everything next week. So as of this release, a week from this release of this episode, this release will be on Friday the 22nd, and then on the 29th we'll have a complete video revealing everything about the rebrand. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna be awesome. Justin, you excited for this?
More than words can describe. We have been waiting a long time and working on this for a very long time. And the whole crew over here at the 90s First is very happy about what we're doing and cannot wait for it to finally be a thing for all you fans.
Yeah, we are really excited. A lot of things in store to reveal, so stay tuned. We're looking forward to it. So, yeah, we are going to review Sonic 2. Just really quickly, if you have not seen our Sonic or seen or listened to our Sonic review a while back, me and Joe ended up reviewing that, and we chatted about the first movie of this series, so go ahead and check that out. I will link that down below, as well as in a YouTube card up at the top right here. And speaking of YouTube, if you are watching us here, please subscribe to the channel. We would really appreciate it. It's one click of your time, and it will get us closer to that 100 sub mark so we could get the custom link. And so, without anything else to talk about as far as housekeeping, let's get into Sonic 2. Sonic 2 here, Justin. It is directed by Jeff Fowler. Screenplay is written by Pat Casey, Josh Miller, John Whittington. Story by Pat Casey and Josh Miller as well. I don't know if you know this, but it was based on Sonic the Hedgehog by Sega.
What?
Not sure. You sure?
Oh.
Did you know about that?
No, I thought this was a completely standalone thing. I never even heard of Sega.
Okay.
What is Sega?
Tune into our video game debate show, Test Your Might, and maybe you'll find out what Sega is.
What's a video game?
Selfless plug or selfish plug. Yeah. What's a video game? No. Anyway, it is produced by Neil H. Morris, Toby Ashner, Toru Nakaharu, Hitoshi Akuno. It stars James Marsden, Ben Schwartz as Sonic, Tika Sumpter as Tails, I believe, Natasha Rothwell, Adam Paley, Shamar Moore, Colleen O'Shaughnessy. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing them. We got Idris Elba, and of course, Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. Distributed by Paramount Plus, released on April 8th. It is 122 minutes long. And its budget was 90 to 110 million, and it is estimated at the box office as of right now at 241.5 million. So, Justin, after all that said, let's get into our spoiler-free review. Listeners, this is the time where you can listen, and then we'll give you a spoiler warning afterwards. So, Justin, spoiler-free review, what do you got?
It was good. It was excellent. It was a movie. No, I enjoyed it. It was I just saw the first one this year, and I enjoyed that. And then I got into the second one as soon as it came out. And I was very excited because I'm a trailer junkie. So I saw, obviously if you're watching this video, you can see Knuckles and Sonic above us. Knuckles is my favorite Sonic character, so I was very glad to see him come in. And the jokes and the little side nods and the nostalgia hit hard with this one. And it was really good. And we'll get into that in particular during the scenes, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fantastic film. It kept me on the edge of my seat till the end. It was a great story, it had a great hook, and it turned it all around. It was good.
Cool. I think I'm a little down on it compared to you.
Okay.
I'll describe it this way. I think that this movie had higher highs than the original and lower lows than the original, than the first one. I think that when this movie is firing on all cylinders, it is a very fantastic video game movie, or just very, very good movie in general. But I think the lows really, really hit this movie harder than I would have wanted. And so obviously we'll explain some of those scenes when we get into our spoiler review. But at the end of the day, I had fun watching this movie. I think that the lows kept it at just a good movie, maybe even just an okay movie. And then the highs could bring it from the good to the great. So it's I think this is middle of the road as far as movies are concerned. But for me, I had fun watching Sonic. I love the action scenes. I love Knuckles in this. Idris Elba kind of stole the show for me, which is something that we'll get into. I'll talk about his character a little bit more and what I enjoy about it. But yeah, this was a fun movie. It was good to go see it in theaters on the big screen. Went to this little movie theater out in a town near me that had reclining seats and stuff like that. So it was just a good experience. But overall, I wouldn't say I'm meh on the film. I would just say it's good. I wish I was blown away more, than I wanted to. So, yeah. All right, listeners, that is our spoiler-free review. We will go ahead and get into spoiler territory. So if you have not seen Sonic 2, here is your official spoiler warning. Hey, you.
What's that?
What are you doing?
Who, me?
Do you want to be spoiled? No? Well then,
Stop it. Get some help.
so you don't feel like this guy. Instead, let it be a surprise.
Oh, I like surprises.
So go watch the thing before you move on in the podcast, okay?
Alrighty then.
All right, that was your official spoiler warning. And yeah, listeners, once again, your final warning, if you have not seen Sonic 2, do not go any further in the podcast. Go ahead and see the movie first, and then come back and listen. So, several months after defeating Dr. Robotnik and being adopted by Tom and Maddie Wachowski as their son, Sonic the Hedgehog attempts to help the public as a vigilante, to little success. Now, this actually does skip the intro to Knuckles. So Robotnik is on Mushroom Kingdom. Mm-hmm. He is isolated, but he does finally figure out a way to send basically an EMP pulse into the ether so that somebody would find him. And he does use that quill that he still had from Sonic from the previous movie.
Yeah.
To do so.
Definitely cool. It opened up with kind of a Rube Goldberg, which is a much complex way to do a simple task. So you've got like mushrooms rolling off of other mushrooms and swinging, and then water filling up and knocking over other things. All the things that are in this mushroom world. He made it into a Rube Goldberg, which is kind of an interesting intro, but it keeps you into his character of the mind always wondering and always trying to do something, even though he doesn't have the technology to do so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's always working. Robotnik is, crazier than the original movie, crazier than he's probably ever been, and Jim Carrey does it really well. So let's kind of talk about Dr. Robotnik here for a second, Justin. To me, I think that Jim Carrey did a very good job, but at the end of the day, there were some sections where he was a little too kooky and too crazy for me. What are your thoughts on Jim Carrey?
I liked that. I really enjoy Jim Carrey when he's going all out in kind of his improv state. I like to see him like that. And I think based on the character Robotnik, you know, he's always been crazy and very, very, I wouldn't say as evil, but a bad character. He would do things that were just no one else would want to do. And I think Jim Carrey really hit that point. The first film set up the character for Dr. Robotnik that this film executed. And I feel like Jim Carrey as his crazy self did a great job. I liked it. I liked the new stash. I liked the new look. He really brought the new craziness that he needed to, and I wish we would have seen more of it in the first one, honestly.
Yeah, I kind of lean towards the first movie as Robotnik, a little bit more grounded, even though he's really crazy, but still a little more grounded. I just thought that there were some moments where he was just like over the top kooky, and maybe that was the design. But I just wish that he was still just even slightly more grounded. But I mean, being isolated on Mushroom Kingdom, can certainly do some things to you probably. So. Yeah,
that definitely took a role into developing the character, him being isolated from everything he loves, pretty much every technology piece that he loves his robots, and being isolated from everything and having to do it by yourself with a companion rock that's doing reconnaissance. Yeah. That's really got to do something to your mind, you know. That definitely fed into it. Man.
Yeah, for sure. But also this is the introduction of Knuckles. So basically a portal ring gets created on the Mushroom Kingdom in front of Robotnik, and the echidnas walk through. And Robotnik has booby traps to take care of 3 of them, but the final one that comes through is none other than Knuckles, who kind of forges a relationship with Robotnik to take down Sonic, because obviously Robotnik, as we come to find out, is always going to use anybody that remotely comes close to him in order to stop Sonic and gain ultimate power. So it then transitions into what I think was a really, really fun scene. Sonic trying to be a superhero, basically. He's a vigilante, and one thing that this movie truly perfects is its awareness of pop culture and its awareness of jokes in pop culture. Like, for example, the Vin Diesel rock joke that Sonic makes, like kind of in the middle of the film, was hilarious. So, Justin, I ask you, even though Batman, you're more of a Superman stan, did you like this Batman-esque opening?
Well, I did. Sonic as the Blue Justice, at least he had superpowers, you know? At least he was able to do stuff that he actually was a superhero at this point. He wasn't just a man with money. So I feel like... jabs at Batman. But I feel like he was missing a lot of the... we get into it later when he talks... with Tom, but I feel like he was missing a lot of that hero-esque aspect. He was just trying to do good acts and not care about the repercussions and doing them as quickly as possible. And he was trying to do them.
You gotta stop it with the puns, dude.
what he thought was the correct thing to do. He was just trying to do it. He was trying to go fast. Yeah.
I mean, but at the end of the day, that's why I think that it's that this movie's awareness of pop culture and just like iconic characters is on point and perfect, because I mean, the original Batman, like the way that he started, like year one Batman, he was similar. He made mistakes. He, didn't do the best job as a vigilante. And so you see Sonic fumbling around, but this scene was really fun. It was funny. He had all the bombs in the in the van that was being stolen. But yeah, I thought it was a really, really cool opening scene.
Yeah, it was good.
But you're right. Yeah,
it definitely set the mood for the
ahead.
film for sure. It showed what he was trying to do while still, he wasn't even living in that town. He's still living in Green Hills, but he was traveling there just to do good, just to save people.
Yeah, kind of shows his. He kind of believes in his purpose. On Earth, and but as you alluded to, Tom advises Sonic to remain patient for the day his powers will be needed before he and Maddie depart for her sister Rachel's wedding in Hawaii. So Tom has this heartwarming moment while they're fishing, and he, tells Sonic that one of these days your powers are going to be useful at the right moment at the right time, but stopping like small or big city robberies is not that moment, is basically what Tom is saying. Yeah,
he's definitely and Sonic even says this line. I don't know how I feel about this relationship quote here, but he was said, "Stop trying to be my dad, be my friend," pretty much. I don't know how I feel about that, because it does come back later on. But Sonic is young, he is a kid. So I understand, the not having a dad and treating Tom as your dad. But I don't know how I feel about that relationship in particular. Another thing happened on that boat, which I'm very happy they made this design choice not to include, is Sonic falls off the boat into the water. And this isn't the first time that water plays a role in this film. We'll get to the future times. But they didn't add the old school drowning sound effect, which I'm so glad they didn't, because it's a very, very anxiety-inducing sound effect. For anyone listening, please Google that, or don't. Try not to, actually. Steer clear of that. But yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about that relationship? The "you're not my dad," kind of thing.
I think it's okay. It sets up what is to come later on in the movie, and basically the restoration of that relationship in a sense. So I think it's okay. But the reason why it is okay is because James Marsden's character, Tom Wachowski, he takes that on the chin, and then he still plays the role of dad. That's why I think it worked. He got this like, "Hey, you're not my dad" type thing from Sonic, but then afterwards he gives this speech again and says that one day your powers will be needed, and he kind of becomes the dad in that moment, but Sonic doesn't necessarily realize. So I think it worked. But yeah, how awesome would it be to have Sonic in your back pocket to be able to just take trips to Hawaii? With the rings.
Yeah, there was this awesome scene when they were leaving that Sonic was wearing sunglasses and had a clipboard, and the dog also had sunglasses on, and he was just kind of like doing the TSA check for these for Tom and Maddie as they walk through the ring to go to Hawaii. Just step foot with all of your baggage, no payments, no nothing, just be there. That would be great. pretty cool.
Yeah, really, really funny. So yeah, they're in Hawaii. So Sonic is all on his own, besides with his dog. So Sonic plans to have fun while home alone, but he is attacked by Robotnik. So yeah, he's having all these like he's having basically this party by himself. I mean, I wish I had his cleaning skills.
Yeah, he did it pretty quick.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, he gets attacked by Robotnik, who has returned with the help of Knuckles. So Knuckles actually desires to honor the legacy of his extinct tribe, the Echidnas, and demands the location of the legendary Master Emerald, which is an ancient relic that allows its possessor to bend reality to their will.
Yeah, it was interesting.
So, yeah, go ahead, Justin. What did you think about this scene, like this kind of like opening?
With the inclusion,
like opening with Sonic and Knuckles.
With the inclusion of the Master Emerald, I knew it was going to happen. And I felt like if you think it, you can make it was an interesting concept. And I also want to highlight a line that Sonic said, because it was a very like kind of creepy-esque scene where like the power was going out, the dog ran away, and then you heard knocking on the door, and like the darkness was around, and he says, "If this is the pizza guy, this is really unprofessional." And I was just like, well, I work in pizza, so Krusty Krab pizza. I feel like it was funny, and it's just like those little one-offs, the nods that keep it a kid movie, but also for adults are like, they did a great job with those, and I just want to highlight that one in particular. I thought it was a good way to reintroduce
that.
Yeah,
they really hit that balance with the funny like jokes that only adults will get, and then I mean that one hit a little bit to home for you.
Yeah.
Have you ever cut down the power of somebody that you were delivering a pizza to?
Well, there was this one time. No, I didn't. But I have scared some customers before. Walking up and they either forgot they ordered pizza or they just didn't see me walking up to their door. They were opening it while I come up to the door.
Oh, that's so funny.
But it's not quite to the extreme of creeping towards the other side of the door and being like, "Who's at the door? This is creepy."
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about Knuckles versus Sonic. First and foremost, Idris Elba, I think, did a really, really good job as Knuckles. What are your thoughts on him?
Definitely agree. I like the way they portrayed the character. I like the backstory. I liked how they did everything with Knuckles.
But yeah, I think what's cool is obviously the plot thread of like finding the right moment to, use your powers. This is one thing where like Sonic is really, he's meeting his match. Like Knuckles is a warrior. The Echidnas were a tribe that prided themselves on their ability to fight. They were warriors. And Knuckles certainly shows that in spades against Sonic, and Sonic is kind of outmatched. But this is also where we get the introduction of Miles Tails Prower, who is a two-tailed fox who idolizes him and came to warn him about Knuckles. So this is something that kind of wasn't explored as much as I wanted, and I'll get to the reasoning behind that here in a little bit. But I really, really loved the introduction of Tails. And I wish it was explored a little bit more how he understood, that Knuckles was searching for him and stuff like that. But you got Knuckles and Tails, two of the most iconic, Sega characters, not only Sonic characters, but Sega characters as well, introduced in a pretty cool fashion.
Yeah. Even before Tails shows up, I know you were talking about how Sonic kind of met his match. They really showed that to its extent. They had this confrontation where they were punching and dodging, and Sonic decides to use the move that won him the first movie, pretty much his role. And it's a huge blast of light, and then you just see Knuckles holding Sonic as a ball in his hand as Sonic is trying to hurt. And it's basically telling you, Sonic, his best move from the last film is not going to do anything to Knuckles. Knuckles has control. Which is really cool. And I enjoy, I really hope they do go back to Tails' family or world. They did mention it a few times and talk about how, she was always watching Sonic, as a superhero pretty much. And I like that.
He was watching.
Sorry, yeah,
Sonic.
Thinking of the voice actress.
Yeah.
He definitely set the mood for the team. Of being there for Sonic, and also Sonic being kind of someone to look up to. So it kind of made Sonic step up.
Yeah, very much so. Sonic convinces Tails to help him find the Master Emerald, while Robotnik reunites with his assistant Stone, and scheming and scheming to steal the emerald for himself, offers to help Knuckles. So basically, Robotnik teams up with Knuckles, but obviously Knuckles doesn't know that Robotnik is not really a friend. And that's what really makes Knuckles, to me, the standout to this, is that like his comedy, along with his ignorance of American or Earth culture, really shines in this movie, because Idris Elba's comedic timing and his just non-understanding of what's kind of going on really is just, that's why I thought Knuckles was one of the brighter spots in this movie. Obviously, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, all bright spots to me in this movie.
Most definitely. Little known fact, Easter egg for anyone that is a big Sonic fan. The coffee shop's name was Mean Bean Coffee or Mean Bean Cafe, and there was an old game for the Sega Master System called Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean. And it was just a matching game, but it was funny, and it's a little nod for anyone Easter egg wise.
Yeah, it was.
I
think I remember that. That was the Dr. Mario contender. That was their version of Dr. Mario, basically.
Yeah, it is on the Nintendo Plus subscribe.
It is?
Yes, it is on the Genesis collection. I saw it yesterday. It is on there. It's kind of like a Dr. Mario game with matching beans.
Yeah.
But it was a little nod. Cool. They threw a lot of them in this film for fans of the series, for sure. Mm-hmm. And that was one that was just a little bit shy of being like right in the spotlight, you know?
Yeah, no, I didn't know that. So thank you for bringing that to my attention. But speaking of the Mean Bean Cafe or whatever it's called, Robotnik and Knuckles end up meeting Stone, their Robotnik's assistant, and this is right in Green Hills, and apparently Stone built this cafe to be an undercover Robotnik thing.
Oh, he has to keep the steamed goat milk, you know?
Yeah. So it becomes basically this place where they're going to be doing research and trying to figure out where Sonic went, because Sonic is actually on a mission with Tails, follows clues on a map that was given to given to Sonic by his guardian Longclaw. Thought this scene was really cool too. Just Sonic and figuring out that the map is actually had a message for him and is actually a map to the Emerald, and how Sonic is the protector of said Emerald now. And so I thought that was a really, really cool scene as well.
Agreed.
So
any little bit of any little bit of seeing Longclaw again, you see the nod back to when Sonic was a baby with a flower. You see that stuff. Anything that shows the backstory of how Sonic, learned how to live his life, is always good. And I present it with flying colors. I love it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Sonic and Tails are on a trek to Siberia where they need to find the compass within an old temple. And then that brings us to a scene which is basically this movie's version of the bar fight in the original movie. However, with a completely different twist. First, I thought it was really funny when they kicked down the door and they were in snowboarding gear and stuff like that. I thought that was really, really funny. Mm-hmm. And then, Justin, take us into this scene. What happens?
So it is a very creepy-esque situation for Tails in particular. He doesn't want to be here. He feels like it's dangerous. And Sonic is all about, everyone's friendly in this world, and you see little nods, that people are kind of not the nicest. They sit down at a table, and Tails has a translator on his device because Tails is all about electronics, and he ends up ordering some food. It's not quite what he wanted, and it causes a disturbance. And then they almost get thrown into a fireplace. But Tails is able to figure out, oh, there's a word. I can't think of the word, but it's an old Swedish, like, kind of like parlay from Pirates of the Caribbean, if you've seen that. Kind of like stops the argument and creates a different situation. And this one happens to be a dance-off. So it's really interesting, kid-friendly, of course, but this guy sitting at the bar across the room gets up and he's got like this, it looks like suede, nice purple overthrow on, and he just pulls it off. He's got a tattoo of himself on his chest going like this with hands straight out for listeners. Yeah. And he begins to dance. And
well, it's just funny how they presented it because he takes his shirt off and this guy is ripped.
Yeah.
Like he's got an 8-pack. He's got muscles growing on his muscles.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he starts dancing and there's literally backup dancers to him that join. It's just like,
it's really interesting. He dances very well. I wish I could do a lot of those moves. They're insane. But then Sonic and Tails get their chance to dance, and they're kind of tripping over each other. They finally discover, oh, we're going to play our own music. And Sonic puts on his own music, and they start beating away and dancing. And Tails does this really cool thing where he duplicates himself. And he makes kind of like a tail flower.
Sonic, too.
He like makes a tail flower in the center of a ring of tails. And then just throws Sonic up in the air. And it looked really cool. I loved it a lot. Ends up, they're flying up in the air together and being carried around. And the original dancing dude is like blown away. And he's just like, I wish I could do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I liked it. It was interesting. For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So they make friends with this Siberian, like, kind of like bar troupe. And they end up spending the night there to wait out the storm that they just walked through to get to this place. And when they get done and wake up, they end up going to the tomb, the temple, basically, where the emerald is, where the compass is to the emerald.
Yes.
And Sonic has the key to get the compass. He knows the thing, but Knuckles and Robotnik end up tracking him at this temple, and end up with all their shenanigans there. They're fighting and all that. They end up starting an avalanche, and but preceding the avalanche, obviously, was one of the coolest scenes in all of the movie. Was, Sonic and Knuckles are snowboarding down a hill, down this mountain, and just some really cool action stuff there, action scenes. What did you think of this scene here, Justin?
For I know it's animated, but for cinematography elements, it started with Sonic kind of jumping out of the temple, and it was kind of like a free fall moment where you were above Sonic and watching him fall down, and then he hooks the snowboard on his feet and starts snowboarding. It was very like reminiscent of the old Sonic Adventure games, especially like when you're going through the city on the snowboard. That was a great level in that game, and it really like intensified the action, and it sped up the scene for me. I wish it would have lasted a little longer, but Sonic and Knuckles are both snowboarding at the same time. Robots all over the place. They're hitting each other, and Sonic is just going down this hill as quick as possible. It was really cool. I liked it a lot. Visually, one of the best action scenes in the movie for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this whole scene really worked for me. And then, I mean, this took you out of it just a little bit. Like somehow Sonic has cell phone signal where he is.
Yeah.
And he's able to FaceTime Tom when he's running away from this avalanche, snowboarding away from this avalanche with Tails in his hand, by the way, in his arms, by the way, because Tails was knocked out by a rocket from Robotnik.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the rocket that started the avalanche. Knuckles has the compass. Robotnik and Knuckles have the compass at this point, and so Sonic FaceTimes Tom and says, "Hey, that ring that I showed you, or that I gave to you, you need to throw it now so that I could get through away from this avalanche to Hawaii." basically.
Yeah.
And this will transition into what I believe is the weakest part of this whole entire movie, is basically all the human-based scenes.
The wedding stuff.
The wedding stuff, everything that had to do with everybody else but Tom, but the Wachowskis. Like, just really was not good to me.
Oh, I
the
think
whole wedding.
I think that
Yeah, go ahead.
this needed to be here because they wanted to introduce the whole aspect of the wedding being a sting, and they wanted to introduce Gun, the Guardian Units of Nations, which was from the games a long time ago, and they wanted to introduce all that potentially for the next film. So you needed this kind of like introduction into this group that you don't know who they are; they could be anywhere, but they're always watching and they're trying to get Sonic. Yeah. So I feel like this was needed. I like the humor jokes. You know, it was more adultified for sure at this part. It wasn't a kid's movie. Yeah, it wasn't a kid's movie with that kind of stuff. You see Sonic and Tails in crates, and this is about Tom and how he is going to step up and be the dad savior for Sonic in this case.
Yeah, but this is where all the problem for me is, though, too, is that like a lot of this stuff seemed forced. I think that there are so many movies that do this when if you just focus on the main character and what the main character and what his team, so Tails and then, you know, versus Robotnik and Knuckles do and what they do well. Mm-hmm. If you have more of that, it's better than these human element scenes. So let's set the stage. Rachel's fiance Randall and his wedding guests reveal themselves as undercover agents of the Guardian Units of Nations, or GUN for short, and capture Sonic, Tails, and Tom. Irate with the truth about Randall, Rachel works with Maddie to rescue them while Robotnik and Knuckles find an underwater temple containing the Master Emerald. But what that doesn't fill in is that you have basically Rachel becoming a secret agent, becoming James Bond, able to like drive a golf cart and jump out of it with perfect timing, and you know having right weapons and knowing how to use them. They have Tails' backpack at this point. I just really thought that like this is what I was alluding to earlier, Justin, is that like if you had added more scenes about like the background of Sonic and how he came to Longclaw, or the background with Tails, I think it's a much better movie because all of this felt so forced to me.
It surprised me. I know you said the first film when Rachel was tied up, you thought that was one of the most hysterical scenes in the film. This was kind of like a bigger version of Rachel, her character more developed, and seeing what she's dealing with in her life. I thought you would like that, but I'm very surprised.
No, like the reason being is because it was too extended. Like this is just too much. Like there's like it's the same thing. It's the same gripe I have with the Halo series right now. Like focus on your main character, focus on what they do best. And then throw in the Tom and the Maddie things. Like throw in those things because those characters are already established in the first movie as having good rapport, good relationship. I thought that the scenes like setting up the wedding were okay, but like this was just too drawn out to me. Like you needed to get back to Knuckles, you needed to get back to Sonic, you needed to get back to Tails and Robotnik a lot quicker. I don't know. That's where the lows come in to me.
I personally liked it. I feel like this was the development of Rachel's character and also Maddie being a protector as well. This was their part in being the family of Sonic and Tails. I feel like this was their role to deal with the situations they have going on, sure, but also in the long run save Sonic and Tails. Yeah. That was the goal.
Well, yeah, and I, like I said, I would have been okay if they focused on Tom and Maddie, but instead they brought in this faux wedding, this like ruse, you know, for the GUN, the Guardian Units of
that's
Nations.
What they do.
I know. I guess that's what they do. Sure, that's fine. But it just felt all forced to me, and a little bit too much. Like put the focus back on Sonic. But yeah, regardless, Maddie does end up rescuing Sonic, Tails, as well as Tom. And Sonic goes to the temple and fights Knuckles. And this scene was awesome. Like, you see Sonic like realize that it's not about all that. Like, he understands that it's not about his power. It's about his speed. Like, he ends up like realizing that he cannot overpower Knuckles, but he could be quicker than Knuckles, which he is.
Yeah.
Way faster than him. And that ball trick that, Knuckles stopped in the first couple scenes, he's not stopping these because he's going too fast. What did you think about here's another thing, like, end the human stuff to give me more of that temple to give me more of that like maze and stuff, and that, the labyrinth and all that. Like, that was cool. I thought that was underutilized as well.
I do like that it was a nod. It was simply, I believe, 2 or 3 levels in the original that map is taken from, or at least the thought of that map is taken from. But I feel like with Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles, in the long run, Robotnik would have gotten hit by something. He was inches, centimeters away from getting hit by a swinging blade. I feel like Sonic breaking through and not having to worry about it is a nod back to the games where you would break through walls and just skip areas and maps. I felt like it was well done. Yeah. It was awesome to see on the big screen, because those are all just things you see in a game side-scrolling, but to see them in 3D and see blades and all kinds of things shooting at Sonic and Knuckles, I thought it was really cool. It could have been extended, but I think they really wanted to push towards that emerald scene where Knuckles and Sonic fight off again, because that's a big turning point for sure.
Yeah. Which was awesome.
Yeah.
That whole scene was great. So let's see here. Robotnik ends up stealing the emerald and leaves Knuckles to die with Sonic as the temple collapses. Sonic and Knuckles actually do end up escaping. And this is where they start building rapport with each other. Teamwork is that Sonic tries to save Knuckles. Knuckles is like, "Why'd you save me?" And then Sonic is actually drowning and Knuckles ends up saving him. So, but that kind of goes back to the mystique and the character of Knuckles, because he saved Sonic only because he did not want to owe him a debt. And that's these little moments that kind of build this character, and they really developed Knuckles in a brilliant way in the very little scene, not the very little, but the amount of time that they had with him. I thought they developed him really, really well, just like these little instances of who his character is.
Another nod back to the games. During this exact scene when Knuckles is trapped underwater, Sonic at this point, we already know, can't swim. He hates water. He takes, he doesn't like being in water. He swims down to Knuckles, and you see what looks to be a bubble coming up from the bottom, and Sonic sucks it up for air. That is just straight classic Sonic drowning. I'm still glad they didn't add the sound effects, but it was very, even if they would have done a nod, a small, increase of volume over time until he hits that bubble of the sound, that would have been cool, but they don't need it, and I'm glad they didn't, honestly. I think it didn't need it for sure.
Yeah. And, Sonic and Knuckles have this heart-to-heart on a beach, and they realize that they need to work together to stop Robotnik with Tails as well. And so Tails actually brings the plane. The plane is another nod to the video games, where Tails would fly over and drop Sonic into some of the levels, which was really cool. But Robotnik actually absorbed the Master Emerald, and he becomes this really extremely powerful being. He displays physical prowess and also telekinetic abilities. This was a really cool scene. Again, seeing it on the big screen. I decided to go to this movie theater because it has way better quality than what the one in the Dells has. This was a 4K projector, really nice quality. And so just like you probably experienced in your viewings, all of the things that Robotnik
The nuts
like,
and bolts.
deconstructed. Yep. Like it was actually a really, really cool scene, him building his robot.
Yeah, it took me back to Transformers for sure. Seeing the different moving pieces all at once on a big screen, I was like, wow, it looks so cool.
Yeah, it was great. So they're back in Green Hills. Robotnik destroys the gun forces with his new powers, and he creates this huge, giant robot resembling himself. That robot looked funny. It was good. Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles work together to fight the robot and reclaim the Master Emerald. So, yeah, this fight scene was really fun. They kind of work as a team. I love Sonic. Sonic was like, I love this line. He said, here's the plan. I live rent free in Dr. Robotnik's head. And that's just a line to, culture now. We say that.
Yeah.
We say that every once in a while on the tweeters or something like that, The Batman is living rent free in my mind. I've been listening to the soundtrack. So, anyway.
The Superman is living rent free in my mind. So
yeah, Superman 64. Yeah.
All of it, all combined.
So yeah, what do you think about this? All this fight scene and stuff.
I really enjoyed when they were all running next to each other, pretty much. I think this is where where's the plane at? Did we skip the plane?
No,
it's coming up.
I said. The plane, he grabs the biplane.
Yeah. So yes, this scene when they're flying towards the robot, I was very pleasantly surprised because in the trailer they showed Sonic and Knuckles in the plane in this exact scene, but they didn't show Sonic and Tails in the plane. They didn't show Knuckles. They made it so that you couldn't see Knuckles in there because they wanted to keep that element of him joining the team a secret. Even though adults know, hey, Knuckles is going to turn good. We know this. But I like that a lot. I like the fact that they kept that kind of hidden, but it was exactly the same scene. I love the talk that they had after Knuckles just jumped off the plane and did his own thing.
Yeah.
Sonic was just like, here's the plan. I don't have a plan, pretty much. We're going to just... It was great. I thought it was really good.
And then Knuckles just like jumps off. I love that part.
Yeah. Also... It cuts to Robotnik inside of this mech, and it has his partner there as well. And he's never used technology like this before. His partner does not understand it. And he says, well, did you read the instruction manual?
The manual.
Yeah, and he holds up a manual with like classic Sega grid lines on it, and he starts reading it. It's great. It's just little nods like that make the game.
Some nods.
It's good.
Yeah. But yeah, they realize that they're outmatched, and they end up causing a diversion. Basically, Sonic is like, I live rent free in this guy's head, so he runs super fast away from the robot, and then Knuckles and Tails, they are the people that are going the back route and trying to sneak up on Robotnik, and they end up doing it. Knuckles, he jumps over, punches the emerald out of Robotnik, and the emerald is out. And the emerald eventually does get shattered, and it releases the 7 Chaos Emeralds.
There's another quote. There's another quote here that actually Jim Carrey says that made me laugh out loud in a theater. For adults and for topical, his partner gets knocked out, and he looks over. He's like, "Oh, great! Now we're gonna have a unsafe work environment lawsuit on our hands." And I was like, "What? No way! Did he just say that?" Because there's a lot of them nowadays, But yes, Tom and Maddie continue by rescuing Sonic, who they just pull up in a truck and pick him up off the side. Who uses I saw this coming. I don't know if you did. I really had a sense that it was going to take place. He basically takes the Chaos Emeralds and transforms with a gleam of light into this golden Super Sonic, which fans of Sonic know.
Go Super Saiyan.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
That's 100% what it is.
What came first, Sonic or Dragon Ball?
Dragon Ball.
I beg to differ. But
Do you want me to prove this right now? Dragon Ball Z is from the 80s, dude.
No research. Okay, so we've got Sonic going super and just flies up in front of Dr. Robotnik's robot. And Robotnik is kind of like in a VR setting, so he kind of throws a right jab. And Sonic just holds his hand up. And this thing's coming at him, and he just stops it. And the arm, I believe, breaks off. And then he goes for the other arm as well, and the same thing happens. So Robotnik's standing there with no arms. And Sonic does this really, really cool spin around the head of the mech and just kind of cuts into it, and it just slides off. And Robotnik's exposed on top, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. It was a great visual spectacle for sure to see that happen. He ends up just tapping the front of the mech to make it fall over, just like a simple tap. And you just see Robotnik fall backwards into the rubble, never to be seen again, that we know.
Dragon Ball Z is 1989. Sonic is 1991. So you owe me dinner. Anyway, that's besides the point. Yeah. So this is another thing that I kind of. I definitely saw the Supersonic coming. Mm-hmm. Definitely saw it coming, but like after reflecting on it, I almost wish that they saved it for the third movie. I don't know, like they probably needed to bring in Supersonic, but I really wish that they saved it. Because I think what was best about this film was Sonic realizing his true power, but also the message could have been that his true power also lies in his friends and the teamwork that he has. And so I kind of wish that it was more of a group effort at the end of the day with the end of it, but still I 100% agree with you. I think that there was great foreshadow with Knuckles at the beginning stopping Sonic with just one hand, and then Sonic at the end as Supersonic stopping with just one hand, Robotnik's arms. Like I thought that was very good foreshadowing, and so ultimately I enjoyed the end. I just wish maybe they saved Supersonic for the third film, but regardless, he does destroy the robot, dispersing the emeralds and reverting back to normal. Knuckles restores the Master Emerald from the remaining shards and agrees to safeguard it with Sonic and Tails. The three resume an idyllic life with the Wachowskis.
Yeah. So as soon as they mentioned that the Master Emerald was going to be in the film, I knew that Supersonic was going to also be in the film. And Knuckles restoring the Master Emerald is also a nod back. He has done that in the past. And I felt that was great for fans. How do you feel about this baseball scene that comes afterwards? This chill ball of bass scene.
I freaking loved it.
Yeah.
This is where like it finally solidified that like Knuckles was probably my favorite part of this movie, because like my favorite part of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies is Drax.
Okay.
And Knuckles is Drax. Okay, Knuckles is 100% Drax, and just his type of humor, his ignorant humor, his what's the word that I'm looking for? On the nose humor, that he takes everything 100% seriously and by the word humor. It was just awesome. So like, but why would I want to hurt that ball? This type of stuff. It was just hilarious.
I think the only major difference between those two characters is Drax has invisibility powers.
Yeah. 100%.
No, I liked it a lot. And then, like I said earlier and I alluded to, Gunn does have an after credits, not really an after credits, but kind of like an after animation mid-credit scene.
Yeah, mid-credit scene.
Where they're searching for Robotnik's body and they can't find it, and they have a talk about how when they were trying to erase Dr. Robotnik from all of history, they found coordinates to a research facility by Gunn, which houses codename Project Shadow, which we see a reveal of, alluding to the next film that potentially will have Jim Carrey, but I doubt it, as power. But I do think that, Sonic or Supersonic and Shadow fighting off would be a great scene. It's always
I wish they didn't show Shadow. I wish they
just said Project Shadow, and that's
wish they just said Project Shadow, because like that fills in the blanks. Like,
Yeah, but for fans, yes. But for kids, they are going to see the movie. They just hear Project Shadow, and they're like, well, Shadow's not a big part of their life other than Sonic. So revealing the darker and the blacks, I think it did a good job, and he looks pretty good. They did a good job, just like they did with Sonic. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited for the third film for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, regardless if it has Jim Carrey in it, I think it'll still do good. I enjoyed it completely. Let's just go ahead and get our out of fives.
Yeah, like
I said, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a great film.
Sorry, Justin. Let's wait on. So Jim Carrey has said that this is probably his last film. Yeah. That he is going to be retiring.
Mm-hmm. Unless the Angels bring a script down or something. That's what I heard.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that Sonic 3 is the one that would bring him out of retirement? Or do you think that he is officially dead? Because I believe they have written his character into a spot where they could go either way.
Yeah, I think they meant for that to happen. Mm-hmm. I think Jim said this will be the last one or something before the filming started, or when the script was rewritten. Yeah. I feel like it could go either way. That's why they left it open like that. They couldn't find the body. But I think that the best way to fix that is if Jim doesn't want to be in it, then somehow Dr. Robotnik was translated into a non-physical body, into the electronics, and they are able to bring him back in a non-Jim Carrey form for the next film. That is a great way to write it in and have no problems. So if you're listening, writers, take that idea and run with it, because I would love to see Jim Carrey. I don't want to see him replaced. I thought he did a great job as this character. One of the reasons I went to see it in theaters is because I knew it might be his last film, and because I love Sonic. But I feel like I'm okay with it going either way. I wouldn't like to see him replaced, but if you have to, please don't mess it up and do it the way I told you to do it.
Mm. Oh, just listen to Justin, Sega. Listen to Justin and Paramount. Anyway, yeah, go ahead, Justin, with your 5 out of 5 review.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with a 4.5 out of 5 long tails. Or long claws feathers, because we saw that.
Long claws feathers.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good one. Just a nod back to the original, and also a very emotional scene for Sonic.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I am gonna go. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I honestly forget where I think I landed on a 4 out of 5 for the original movie.
I believe I gave it a 5.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you were on that episode, but I think you gave it a 5 regardless.
Yeah.
I think I'm going 3.5. Out of 5, and we're gonna go 3.5 out of 5 Tails translators.
Okay.
And I guess the reason that I'm going 3.5 is because I think that the highs were so good in this movie, but the lows really, really brought it down. Mm-hmm. Whereas in comparison to the first movie, I thought the first movie was like a straight good, and then the lows were just too much, but the highs are bringing this one up to that 3.5 for me, because the action, Sonic and Knuckles, Tails and Robotnik, all of them doing their thing, like it was really good. So 3.5 out of 5 Tails translators. That's what I'm saying. All right.
And there you have it.
Well, listeners, where we have it. Yeah, listeners, let us know what you think about Sonic 2 down in the comments, or send us an email or something like that. And, just another tease, we are rebranding. So stay tuned next week for the full reveal of our new name, new logos, new everything. We're really excited for it. So my name is Mike, and that is Justin. This has been our Sonic 2 review, and we will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Gotta go fast.
Super fast.
Yeah, not like Batman. He's not super.
Batman super.
No.
Uh-huh.